Suntan lotion is good for me. It protects me. Tee-hee-hee. Oh, the sun wants to hurt me, but you won't let it. While full thoughtfully meandering about the gallery, determining which masterwork looks most like me, learning languages, enhancing cultural literacy that I want to use to translate my own poetry that says seek first to understand and maybe then be understood. But I'm impatient, narcissistic, that line of thinking does no good. So forget your platitudes and your beatitudes. I'm gonna go it alone. Gonna go it alone. Gonna go it alone. Now I've never really been a fan of foolish pride. Instead attracted to the kind that comes from deep inside, like the kind that's been there since this world began with me, but is sadly oft mistaken for pure vanity. Guess I should seek first to understand, and maybe then be understood. But I'm impatient, narcissistic, that line of thinking does no good. Forget your platitudes and your beatitudes. I'm gonna go it alone. Yes, I am. I'm gonna go it alone. I'm gonna go it alone. Take a look in the mirror and go it alone. Take a look in the mirror and go it alone. Now anything can be a mirror if you look at it just right. A child's eye is a sandwich or a stick of dynamite. But if you keep on searching hard enough, you cannot help but notice there's nothing more perfect than what the mirror has shown us. Sometimes I fear that I am the only one that values me. So I double down on things I do successfully. Then I take my megaphone up to the mountaintop in hopes of drowning out that voice that just won't stop. It says seek first to understand, maybe then be understood. But I'm impatient, narcissistic, that line of thinking does no good. So forget your platitudes and your beatitudes. I'm gonna go it alone. Yes, I am. Take a look in the mirror and go it alone. I take a look in the mirror and go it alone. Take a look in the mirror, 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 go it alone. Now take a look in the mirror and go it alone. Now anything and a thing can be a mirror. Take a look in the mirror and go it alone. Welcome to Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Tuesday night live stream with Chris Q. Murphy. Here we are, coming from beautiful Marine Park, Brooklyn, playing songs, talking songs, feeling good, doing what we need to get through these crazy fucking weeks, right? So good to see so many of you here, so many of the regulars back. Happy to see some new faces tonight. I'm excited about that. We got big things coming up in the next couple weeks on the show. Not only do I have a cavalcade of fantastic guests coming on, but I think we might get a major upgrade in the AV department over the next couple weeks. We'll talk about that a little more in the episode. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what I just played. Now, That is the first song on the last album I released. That's true. It's a song called Narcissist Mirror. And I haven't played it in a minute, but the reason I'm playing it tonight is because it's one of those songs where I had to go for the assist in order to get it done. I had drafts of verses and little bits of the chorus that I was playing around with, and there were a couple of lines that I just could not decide on. Like, I wasn't like a genius that had like 30,000 good lines. It's not like fucking Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, where he apparently had 30 verses. But in the last verse, there were a couple lines that I knew I had to get like just right. And I was waffling between two different lines, and I couldn't figure out which one to use, and I sang it 100 times, and I said, you know what, I gotta go to the bullpen on this one. I gotta reach out for a save. So I sent the lyrics and I think a recording out to some friends, because sometimes your friends know better than you do. And I'm lucky to have friends that I think can help make these decisions in a completely fair and objective way, right? I had all sorts of ego wrapped up in this, and I needed some people to fly in and help me out. Jim Nabel, who was a guest 2 weeks ago, was one of the people I sent it to. Nam Wayne, who was here, I think last month, was one of the people I sent it to. And I also sent it to tonight's special guest. And she sent me back not only a definitive reply about which set of lyrics to use, but she also gave me the best reasoning as to why I should use those. It was about context with the rest of the song, and the affirmation of the lyric as opposed to the confirmation. It was really cool. Anyway, I'm excited to have friends like that. And I'm excited to have had friends like that over the years, especially those people in the songwriting world that have kind of come in and out of my life as a songwriter. People that I've had contact with regularly or irregularly over different phases of my life as a musician. Tonight's guest, aside from helping me complete that song, is somebody that I first knew before most of the world knew I was writing songs even. I was playing bass and maybe guitar and maybe some other things for the Randy Bandits, led by Jim Nabel, who was on a couple weeks ago. And as such things go in New York City, a friend's always got a friend, who's always got a friend, who's always got a friend, and you wind up playing on shows together. And we were booked on a show with our piano player's friend, I think. Maybe she can confirm. At any rate, I was completely wowed, not only by her band at the time, the Lascivious Biddies, but I was also just absolutely amazed by her prowess as a harmony vocalist and a lead vocalist and a piano player. And later on I found out that I had been enjoying her prowess as a songwriter for her whole set. And then a couple years later, when we were cutting a record and we needed an extra hand, and we needed somebody to come in and play piano for a really kind of emotional, like, grand finale kind of song on an album, we knew that not only did we just need somebody that could play to come in the studio, but somebody that could share in the spirit of the moment, be generous and joyful. And so we called on her then too, and she played piano on that record. And you know, over the last couple of years, the big city folk community has been super helpful and loving to me, and I try to spread that grace around. And after a little while, I was like, hey, you know who should be here? Deidre should be here. I'm not really sure why she's not here, so I'm going to make sure she is here. And she started coming around the song club, and that kind of rekindled a connection that we had. There are other connections we could get into. We could talk about this all fucking night, because New York City is incestual as hell. It's the biggest small town in the universe. But I'm going to shut up about all that, because I think I've probably said enough, and I want this person to be able to say some things for herself. So invite tonight's special guest on. She'll be showing up in just a minute. Here is,
Hey.
Deidre Rodman Struck.
Hey,
Deidre,
I'm
how
sideways. I'm
You are
sideways.
totally sideways.
Should I move my phone? Okay, hang on.
Yeah, Instagram wants it the other way. Like I said to everybody a few minutes ago, I'm looking at some AV upgrades in the future that will maybe allow people to put their shit in the more natural looking landscape.
Hang on. Ben is helping me. Hi, Ben.
There she is. Deidre, how you doing?
What's up? I'm good. How are you? What's new?
I'm doing all right. We
Hang on,
almost have you in frame. Almost.
1 second. We're getting there, people.
There are your eyes.
It needs to be down.
I know.
Twist it more than this.
Okay, hang on 1 second. This is
Can't twist it more than this.
1 minute.
Guys, you see what COVID did? It made us musicians suddenly have to be like producers as well, like TV producers.
Move it over.
Can you believe it?
Awesome.
Okay, there I am. Hello.
Yay, Deidre, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yay!
What's
I
up
just
on
was
this?
remarking on. I was thinking about how long we've known each other. It's been. I think our first gig was at Banjo Jim's. Remember that
Yep.
place?
You want to know some of Banjo Jim's? Excuse me. You know how everybody has that New York place that was like your New York place, and then it dies, and then you feel more like you're a New Yorker if you weren't already born here. That was mine.
Yeah.
As Banjo Jim's life went on, I wound up with a residency there with another group. I played the third Saturday of every month from 10 to midnight for 3 years there.
Wow.
And it was the best. I loved Banjo Jim so much, and when it closed, I was absolutely heartbroken. I stole the stage clock, which is still sitting in my house that I like to look at every once in a while to remember that moment on my life. But you're right. I think we met at Banjo Jim's.
Yeah. I remember I had a residency at the Knitting Factory for about 3 years every Monday night with Roy Nathanson, and we did like a rotating big band in the tap bar. And that was really sad when it's kind of the Knitting Factory went through a bunch of different changes. So this was in an earlier iteration before it got taken over.
Yeah, the tap bar had that great piano. Like that was the selling point.
That was really cool because back in the 90s, that place there were 4 different spaces in it. And I had just moved to town. So it's like you go there, you play, and then you go to all the different other venues, hang out with your friends. It really felt like a communal, like something special was happening, you know?
Yeah, I came a little after that, but I remember at some point considering it like a feather in my cap that I had played 3 different rooms at the Knitting Factory, and I had played the 3 different spaces at CBGB. And I was like, all right.
You get a stamp on your New York card.
Exactly. So what's going on with you? How you feeling?
I'm great. My first song I wanted to play, actually, you helped me with.
I did?
Yes, you did. Because you had sent me your song, and then I was working on this song. I was going to play at the Song Club, whatever you call it, Big City. I can't think of the name of it. It's Song Club. And I sent it to you because I couldn't decide what to do for the ending, and you totally helped me with the ending because I have a tendency to not want to edit. And this song was like right after the Mars rover opportunity.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah. Song. It was really, for some reason, it really spoke to me. It's like this rover, nobody had heard from it in a long time, and they're like, well, its time is up. You know, it did more than it was supposed to do, and we're just gonna say goodbye to it now and stop trying to communicate. It made me really sad in this weird way. So I wrote a song about it and sent it to you for some feedback.
I remember that, yes. It was about the ending, I remember.
Yeah.
You going to play it for us now?
I am.
All right, I'm excited.
All right,
Let's do it.
So I know you can only see my head and you can't see the piano, but this is the first time I'm trying this. So next time maybe we'll do like a fancy piano cam or something. Okay. Battery's low and it's getting dark. My battery's low and it's getting dark. It's quiet here among the stars. My battery's low and it's getting dark. Original mission was 90 days. Once I was here, I just had to stay. For the sweet stardust, the blueberry moments in all of us. Ones and zeros are unlikely heroes.
Drug endeavor is where I'll be, searching out to the great unknown. This beautiful place I call my home. What a life to roam, to Godspeed, Godspeed. My battery's low and it's getting dark. My battery's low and it's getting dark. It's quiet here among the stars.
Yay!
Thanks. How's the sound? Is there a weird buzz going on, or is that just something I'm hearing?
No, I can hear you. I mean, the piano might be buzzing a tiny bit, but it's not bothering me at all.
Okay, cool. Cool.
I'm so excited. I remember one of the things I was so jazzed about with that song and continue to be jazzed about is like, I don't know if you've counted, but you say my battery's low and it's getting dark, like probably a dozen times.
Uh-huh.
And I never tire of it. And I'm always so afraid to do that in my own music. So when I hear somebody pull it off like that, I'm just like, damn, that
That's
line
so
is
funny.
so good.
It's so funny you say that, because I don't usually do it in my music either. I don't repeat phrases like that. Because I'm like, every verse has to be different, every chorus has to be different. But for some reason in this one, I just thought of it kind of repeating its message over and over again and kind of fading, and so it made sense. But I'm so glad you talked me out of the ending I was originally going to do, because it would have not been good. I'm not even going to play it, because I don't want people to know what it was.
Okay. We'll just leave it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Deidre and I talked really quickly on the phone last night, and we cut ourselves off so we'd have some things to talk about tonight. But one of the things that I felt like our conversation continually revolved around was like the general busyness, not only of our lives right now and how that impacts us as writers and performers, but kind of like the busyness of our headspace, because there's so much that both of us been spending time considering. Like so many people in the world, the last 8 months or 9 months or 7 years, or whatever the fuck it's been, has really given us an opportunity, or forced us to like reconsider a lot of shit. And the fact that we've, been in the middle of election season while it's all going on has really only intensified some of that reflection. And one of the things that, Deidre, that you're able to kind of explore that I think I often avoid is not only repeated lines, but the idea of like doing some of that reckoning with social justice issues through songs. It's something I've never been able to do comfortably or well, and it's something that I know you really enjoy exploring with your not only songs themselves, but your work as a musician. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like in your life as a songwriter?
Yeah, sure. I think I used to be much more afraid of that. I grew up Mormon, and I was always afraid to go against the patriarchy, go against the systems. And I think I was even afraid to be somewhat of an activist. And then 4 years ago after the election, my friend Rebecca Pronsky, who you know, asked me over to her music studio to just sort of talk about stuff. And then she ended up writing a musical from the perspective of Hillary after losing the election. And I started thinking about coming up with some songs for her show. And I found that for me, a lot of it I do through humor, and maybe that's a safe way to do it. But I like to poke fun at some of these serious things, because I feel like there are so many people doing super serious protest songs, and I think they're awesome. I wrote one semi-serious one called We Go High, which was more of a hopeful song, like for kids, and they could do actions. But then with Rebecca, I mean, in her show, I was playing like a Russian troll, and I was playing Hillary's mom, and I got to just really sort of flex the theatrical muscles. And so it was after all that I really started thinking about, I have something to say. I need to say it, and I think I can say it through humor in my songs.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And then also I work with Carnegie Hall's Lullaby Project, and we help moms in different settings write lullabies for their babies. And I felt like a lot of what I was trying to say around that was also from a setting of social justice, just because I was seeing, obviously we're not all getting the same opportunities here, and it just is really heartbreaking. And especially the last 4 years, I feel like if you're silent, you're complicit. That's just my own feelings. So I thought, well, what can I do? But I also think that anybody making art is making a valid statement. Like, you don't have to be singing directly about the election or anything like that. I just think that artists need to be making art right now. And it's really hard. It's hard for me because it's like quarantine and the pandemic, and I haven't wanted to be creative at all. So I'm really glad you asked me here, because I sort of forgot what it feels like to be joyful with art for a while, sadly.
Not to get away from the joy too much, or maybe to get deeper into it. Can we rewind a second? You
Yeah.
really briefly mentioned the Carnegie Hall Lullaby Project, and I know you and somebody else that work on that project, Emily Egan, and I'm endlessly fascinated by the kind of work you do, and I would love it for those people out there that just haven't heard of it. Can you just tell people about the Lullaby Project through Carnegie Hall that you work for?
Sure. It's funny because I actually started working for Carnegie Hall with the Lascivious Biddies like 15 years ago. They had auditions for this thing called the Neighborhood Concert Series, and the audition was set up with all your gear, play 3 songs, and tear down in 10 minutes. And it was raining. And we got the gig, so we started like going out to these different places in New York City, very New York. But then they started having more of an aim towards, outreach, going into hospitals, playing grand rounds, going into senior centers, that kind of thing. And they're always kind of looking to do the next thing. And about 6 or 7 years ago, Emily and this guy, Tom Cabanis, were at Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx talking about this idea with this woman, Ellen Walk, who was at Jacobi Hospital, about how can we help all these moms, these soon-to-be moms who are sitting in this room in this educational seminar waiting for their appointments. They would gather and be waiting to see the doctor, but they're just sitting in this room, like watching some boring video or like some childbirth video or whatever. And so we started going to the hospital and just like bringing all of our gear and stuff, having the moms write a letter to their babies. And then from the letters, we would pull out the various phrases. Sometimes, one time there were 16 moms in the room and there were like 3 of us. So we just had to boom, 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 boom. Sometimes I went to Rikers Island once and there weren't that many people. It was coming and going, and we just had to kind of grab them as we could. And because I was a mom, I found it like very easy to see what they were going through. I was nervous even to go to Rikers, which I feel like was ignorant of me, because I walked in and they're moms. And a lot of them have a lot of kids and they missed them so much. One woman was in there and she had twins at Rikers. You can have your kids for up to a year, and then a year and a day they take the kids. So it's really, really, really painful. But mostly the moms there wanted to talk about joy, like expressing some remorse to their kids, but just joy about their children. And it was really, I felt totally honored to be even a part of that, So I've been doing it for a long time, and I really love doing it. I've sort of had to explore my role in it recently since Black Lives Matter and stuff. Like, how can I go in without tokenizing anyone or without like being a meaningful participant, but also making sure it's their voice that's heard and not my voice. So
Right.
There's been a lot of thinking about it, but I still love doing it, and luckily I still get to do it. So
That's awesome. It's one of the most meaningful and profound music projects I've heard of in a very long time. And I could listen to you or Emily talk about it, time and time again. And I love that idea that, it was moms. It was you and other moms. And that was the bond, regardless of anybody's situation. The thing that allowed you kind of transcend the situation. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. That connection as mothers spoke louder than all the other stuff. That's really.
And I feel so badly for some of these young moms, like they're outcast by so many people. Like some by their families, they have to quit school, but they're trying to have this baby and nobody is on their side, you know? And so we can talk about, like, I remember when I was pregnant and I was totally afraid and how this felt. And, you know, it's like anybody who's been pregnant can immediately have a conversation with another person who's pregnant because we've been there, you know, we've been there. So yeah, it looks a little different now, obviously, because everything's online. So we'll see. I haven't done my first online lullaby, but this is my first online concert, so online lullabies are next.
Now, I know that these lullabies are their songs as much as they are yours. So it might not be prudent to play something you've done for that project. But is there anything else that you've written kind of in the vein, even the humorous ones, of like what you consider maybe a humorous protest or social justice song that you could share with us right now?
Yeah, well, I know, Jay, if you're watching, I don't know if he's watching, but he requested this song that I wrote. Now it both feels completely timely and also completely out of date, because at the time that I wrote it, there was a big fad going around with the tidying up and sparking joy fad. And I just imagine how good it would feel for her to help tidy up a certain house. So I'll do this for Jay and for the country, because you know what? Time to go, man. Time to go. Okay. This is called Please Come to Our House. I know a place not so far away, which used to be a symbol of the future. Now it's cluttered up with Cove Fay Fay, but I think I have a solution. Won't you come to our house? It used to be filled with hopes and dreams, the pure ideals of a nation. Now it's just landfill for tweets and memes, devoid of all aspiration. Won't you come to our house, Marie Kondo? Big white one above the hill. The time has come for tidying up. It's safe to say we've all had enough. Let's kick those trash bags out to the curb. In truth, it's so much more than they deserve. Categories. Lesson 1. Clothing. Open the closets. Watch for skeletons falling out. Thought we'd find some pussy bows, but that lady must have moved out. Magazines, MAGA hats, stack them up and light a match. Oh, the joy is finally sparking now. Books. Where are all the books? All we see are biographies of some chumpy little crook. Okay, what about paper? Nowhere to be found. No tax returns, no constitution. Maybe we should check with Putin. We could start the revolution now. Won't you come to our house, Marie Kondo? Big white one above the hill. The time has come for tidying up. It's safe to say we've all had enough. Let's kick those trash bags out to the curb. In truth, it's so much more than they deserve. It's time for kimono. That's all that random stuff lying around, you know. Here's what she found. Here's what we found. Red Christmas trees, hamburger wrappers, Diet Coke cans, TV remotes, locker room talk, Betsy DeVos, Big Lee, Spicer, Sanders, Graham, Conway, Cruz, Ben, and Mitch. I don't even want to say his last name. And a pile of perjury. Last category. Sentimental items. A portrait of Lincoln. memorial to free thinking. Let's keep him, we need him, won't you? Come to our house, Marie Kondo. Big white one up on the hill. The time has come for tidying up. It's safe to say we've all had enough. There's one more thing to take to the dump. I think you know his name. It's drumming in our ears, so loud and clear. Won't you come to our house, Marie Kondo? Big white one up on the hill. Oh, say, can you see this nation needs some fun, Marie? Let's take those trash bags out to the curb. It's so much more. Oh, it's so much more. The truth, it's so much more than they deserve. Marie, are you out there, Marie? Marie, it's time. We got till January 20th. Let's get this shit done.
Woo!
Thanks.
Unreal. Man, you want to talk about flexing theater muscles? Oh,
It's funny because this song, like, he's fired so many people that I was reading this old lyrics and it's like Spicer, Sanders, Graham. I don't even remember who Sanders was now. Like, who was that? Like 425 firings ago? Who even was that?
yeah, who knows? Man, I'm trying to wrap my brain around, like, I'm kind of a classicist as a writer. And
What do you mean?
I have a couple of, like, standard formulas that I generally adhere to, which can be great because it means sometimes I can just get shit done. But it also Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Thank you. Sarah. Oh, yeah.
Siege is
Yes,
one of
of course.
our, like, main supporters. He's here every week.
Conway. Kellyanne Conway, too. Okay, right. Yes.
Nice. Thank you, Siege, for the assist. I can't wrap my brain around how you would write that song. You know,
It's funny because I came to New York and I was in the jazz world. So everything I was playing was like chord, 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 chord. And then at some point I got really simple. Like I was just like, simplify everything. I hate extensions, no more extensions. And then I went back and forth. And sometimes I would resist, like the humor, like, oh, this is a song in the key of C or whatever. But occasionally I just sit down and I kind of vomit it up. And I sat down and this song just vomited out of me. It was like, what? There it is. So I don't know. I feel like the spirit of Marie Kondo was with me in that moment. Was like, please write the song, you know. I don't know. And then I just thought it was hilarious that I don't know, like the da, 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 da. I play a lot of holiday parties, obviously not this year, but they always want to do like the 12 Days of Christmas. So I thought that was just funny. So.
Man, that song is so good.
Thank you.
For those of you just popping in, and there are a couple of you, I am here with this week's special guest, Deidre Rodman-Struck, who's been playing her songs for us, and we've been talking about writing and social justice, and also cool things as songwriters. For those of you that know Deidre but don't really know me, I'm Chris Q. Murphy, and this is my regular Tuesday night live stream. I do it every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Most times I have a really excellent guest on to talk about, you know, songwriting or life as a musician, and it's been a really fun way to pass the time, and I'm super proud to have so many cool friends, and Deidre is one of them. If you are one of my followers on the Instagram or on Bookface, make sure that you also go ahead and give Deidre a follow so you can keep up with whatever she's up to. And if you're here because, you know, Deidre, give me a follow so you can check out my live stream next time around. The other new thing that I'm going to say, which I'm generally pretty bad at, is that all of these musicians, many of which are living their lives a little differently financially right now, have all come on to the show out of the goodness of their heart. They've all agreed to come on for not a single penny. other than maybe a little bit of promotion from yours truly. And I would love it if I could start throwing some money in their direction. Now, I'm never going to force anybody to pay a dime to watch these live streams. But what I do want to say is if you're ever willing to give a donation, I'm going to go ahead and just throw my Venmo up on the screen. It's in the chat for those of you that are interested. Anything you send this way will go mostly to Deidre. I'm going to keep a small percentage for myself because I am going to be spending some money to upgrade this show in the coming weeks. And I would like to break even at least, but we'll talk more about that later. For right now, Deidre, like, your songs, I can't, sometimes I just can't wrap my brain around the way you do it. And that's why I love listening to them, because they're special and beautiful and humorous, which is also a crutch that I lean on at times. But they're just so outside of my realm of experience as a writer that I also marvel at them, not only as a listener, but as a writer myself. So I really love that. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you too, because I like that we have this relationship where we could just send each other stuff, because I think we are really different writers, and that's really good, because then, you know, I have certain chord progressions that I go to all the time, and so it's nice to occasionally I'll hear you and it's like, oh, that's cool, I would not have thought of doing that, you know.
Thank you. I've also found that there are as many songwriter friends as you might have, or one might have. There are some people that you feel like you can have a good give and take with, and some people that, like, you might have a nice mutual adoration with, but you don't feel like you can have that, like, I don't know, it's a dialogue thing that's different than liking somebody's work. And I'm, again, really excited that I've been able to send you things as well and feel like I got legitimate feedback. Like, I like this, and why don't you try this too?
Right.
So yeah, I'm glad that you got some new gear too, so we can start
I know, it's very exciting.
doing some fun things together.
I know, I was resistant to technology for so long, and it took a pandemic, you know.
I mean, to be honest, like, I should take everybody on a tour of my live stream setup. If you want to talk about technology, this is like the most lo-fi shit in the universe. The only reason I have even decent lighting is because I found just the right place to sit in this after hours coffee shop. Like, I walked around the whole fucking place going, where am I going to look the coolest? And this is what I came up with. Anyway, I just want to hear more songs.
Okay.
Like, I want to stop talking. I just want you to play more songs for me and for the people at home. Play us something, anything.
Okay. Well, I have a little list here. This is kind of an interesting one, because I wasn't going to play this one, but it reminded me, I have another friend, Rob Jost, who's a great bass player, and we used to send each other songwriting challenges, and they often involved limitations. So, like, they could only be in one key, or they could be a happy song, but it had to sound sad, or it had, you know, and I know at the song club, we would always have a word that we would have to include in the song.
Yep.
This is an older song, but so basically the songwriting challenge was to write a song around one repeated figure or a vamp that had to go throughout the entire song. Could not stop. So the chords can change underneath it, but the figure has to stay there. So my figure was this. So here's the song. Rain, 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 rainy city, come lay your head down. Keep me warm, no questions.
Woo. Yeah.
Thank you.
Deidre Rodman struck, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man. I love how you took the challenge by making it like more of a melodic element that was repeated over and over again. I think that had I been given that challenge, I would have went in a different direction and made it a bass line. And I love that you went in that direction because it left it way more wide open to different textures. And then the bass could just kind of make harmonic implications. That was really cool.
It's a little scary to play just on piano because my first like pop EP I put out in 2009, like right before I had my first child, and Michael Lenhart produced it. He's this amazing producer, and it's got like these backwards mellotrons, and it's got these cool cellos, and it's very. I always imagined like I want this song to be at the end credits of a movie. You know, it's like very cool sounding. So it feels really naked to just play it just with the vamp. You know. Also, if I don't practice the song in a while and I try to do anything too fancy with the left hand, then the right hand vamp gets totally messed up. So
it worked fine for me. I mean,
oh, thanks.
isn't that sometimes the ultimate test of a song if you can strip it down
Yeah.
to just the accompaniment and the melody, you know?
Yeah, that's what like the song club is really good for too, is because you play, you know, we all play with bands. We have different bands, we have different albums. But then the real test is, can you get up in front of people and just like strip the song totally away and hope that it resonates with people.
Yeah, which can be super scary. And you know, it's funny, some song club type environments have specific rules about that. Like I know that the Jack Hardy Song Exchange, which has been going forever, and our mutual friend Mia Byrne is a member. I know that they have rules about like it really can be just you and a single instrument. So it really is about the song and not the arrangement. Now, I know I have friends out there and friends that have been on the show that will talk about like kind of the more semiotic approach to making music, whereby the arrangement or the recording is a part of the creative process. That's never really worked for me. Which makes me excited when it works for other people. But I thought when you stripped that back, it was just dandy.
Thank you. It's like on the other hand, it's also fun because I grew up, you know, like a child of the 80s, and I loved all that one of my favorite, Karen Dahlstrom, who's also goes to a lot of these song club things. I grew up in the same town as her, and we were both huge fans of this movie, Streets of Fire. And like not ELO, but like, can't think of who the producer is, but it was like the Meatloaf people did this. Jim Iovine. Yeah, like it's like layers and layers and layers and vocals and vocals and vocals and synthesizers, and I loved that stuff. And I used to play with synthesizers all the time. I would like take it home from school, and I would like have my tape recorder, and I would tape loops on it, and then I would do. So now that I'm learning GarageBand, it's been really fun to play with that again and be like, what's the coolest weird synth sound I can have? I want 10,000 harmonies, you know? So it's kind of fun to do something stripped down and then also play with recording as its own kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome too. When you were talking about getting that challenge of having a musical element of that that goes over and over again, this is just kind of free association maybe. When I think of songs that do that really well, What Have You Done For Me Lately by Janet Jackson has the exact same bass line for the entire song.
Wow.
Despite the fact that the verse and the bridge have like really different harmonic content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like relative minor, relative major stuff. But
Right.
the bridge is really harmonically rich and interesting. And the verse and the chorus are kind of vampy. But I'm always blown away by the fact that, and I challenge y'all to go back and listen to it. What Have You Done For Me Lately by Janet Jackson, as produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, is based on this bass vamp. Like this dum 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 over and over again. Even when there are a bunch of chord changes that only vaguely connect to it in the bridge, it's still just plugging away in the background.
Maybe one of these days you could do a little listening session live stream where people like, we just, because now it just makes me want to hang out with people and listen to music in a room. Can't do, but we could sort of do online. But
I mean, yeah, you can do it on Zooms and stuff. Actually, people have been getting shut down on Instagram for doing shit like that. Yeah, because
we'll just wait till times then. We'll just wait till
Exactly. Till Pfizer gets their shit together and makes this vaccine work and safe so we can hang out and play songs.
Right.
Speaking of playing songs, last night you told me there was another one that you were going to play tonight, and you wanted to talk about it a little bit before you played it. And I love this song too, and I think it's a really magical and unique experience you had that inspired it. So I would love it if you would do that one that I'm thinking of.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for your generosity of time tonight, Chris. And thanks to all the people I see. Like one of my sisters is out there. Hey, Diana's out there. Hey. So 4 or 5 years ago, I believe it was 5 now, I embarked, I'll keep it short because of time, but I embarked on this journey, which was to find out through ancestry DNA, like where I come from, because I was adopted. And lo and behold, that led me on what has now been a 5-year journey of finding my birth mother. I have she lives in Washington State, and I found her. It was like amazing. She was a folk singer, and she used to play violin. And I found this video of her like on YouTube singing like from this Gordon Lightfoot song. And it's a whole long story, but, and then I have a half brother whose name is Blake, who was on American Idol. And then he and I are friends. 3 years ago today, actually, we did a gig together at Rockwood. He's a beatboxer. He's amazing. I have another brother, Patrick, who I haven't met yet, who is a pop. He dances like popping. And then on the other side, I found my birth father, who is awesome. And I have 2 half sisters, one of whom is an author and an amazing pastor, and the other one is a violist, like a principal violist. So it's all this music. And basically what has come to me from this whole experience is that I was so afraid to do this because I didn't want to be rejected again. And I had all these other fears. And how would my family react, like my other family? And, and basically what I learned is that there's just more love. It's like when you have one kid, you can't conceive of having another one and loving that other kid that much. And you do, and there's just more love. And I think that's the message I want to spread tonight, is that there's so much hate right now, but our hearts are so huge. Like our capacity for love is so huge. And if we just let go of the fear and open ourselves up to this, I think that there could be more love. So I can play this song. This is called Written in Stars. And I just put out an EP a year ago with this guy, Byron Isaacs, and this is the first song. The EP is called Written in Stars, and this was started writing it on the airplane when I was going to meet my mother for the first time. Sitting here by the window, a million miles in the air, shielding my secrets from strangers, trying to read my mind. Perfect circular rainbow, anonymous strangers, always new stories to find. It's time for this tired traveler to leave old ways behind. All that we do, all that